Howdy homies, it is James Finnerty here again with the Rewind Electric Show. And the robot has stopped walking. Oh, nope, he's still going. Well, he is definitely having trouble. We've got Gravedigger and Cruz Ramirez here as well. We've got some toys on the bench. Cruz is actually here for some repairs. She's got a broken spoiler, so we're gonna be gluing that back in place today. A little bit later, but she wanted to make an appearance on camera. Anyway, what I'm really going to get into tonight is drinking some Topo Chico, but also comparing these two a little bit deeper than we previously had. Now, we did an audio comparison, and we did a quick open up and inspection of each one. But can you hear that robot still kicking his legs there? He'll run out of steam soon. What I'd like to do, what I haven't done yet, is get back into both of these. And for one, I have to note the value of the electrolytic caps because I'm going to order spares. I don't know that I'm going to replace them. I'm certainly not going to shotgun them. But I want to have the spares on hand so that if I open these up and there's a bad cap, I can replace it right then rather than at that point ordering one. That would just be difficult. And if I order replacement caps and then I don't have to replace one, there's no problem at all there because then I have a spare. So isn't that great? First of all, let's drink a little bit of Topo Chico mineral water carbonated. Oh, man. You're supposed to drink a gallon of water a day, and I'm pretty sure I drink like a glass of water a day. So I am parched. Like the water you see me drinking on these videos is perhaps all of the water that I drink in a given day, and that's a problem. Before we crack into those, there's a little bit of mail. So here's one piece of mail that I got, and it came just like that. Isn't that pretty? The other side's worse, but it's got my private information on, so I'm not gonna share it. But it is batteries. Like, apparently they stuffed a express envelope in there as well and thought that somehow that was going to make that okay. No wonder that took so long to get here. The label was basically destroyed. Usually when I buy these, they come in those little cardboard boxes of 6 of them, or 12 of them maybe, I don't remember, but this is kind of awkward. Oh, look, they've several of them are taped together. This is awful. This is like when you buy something that was obviously shoplifted and stolen and the person doesn't know what they're selling and they send you that. Okay, also got another piece here. I can tell by the sound this is going to be fuses. Yeah. This was kind of a hard combination of fuses to find, in that it had increments such as 2 1/4, 1.5, 1.6, 2.5, 3.15 amps, 3.5 amps, 4 amps, 6.3 amps. Those are all not typical values to find. So I was happy to have that. Oh, I see there's a couple fuse holders here. My Boss DM1, was it the DM1 or was it the Chorus Ensemble? I forget. One of those has a spot for 2 fuses on the board, but then there are none. Oh yeah, the other thing I got in the mail is kind of nice to have. Get a couple of these rewards for the GC card. Buy enough vintage pedals, and eventually you will get something back. Here's an interesting thing. I've been buying rubber feet, looking for the perfect one for the vintage EHX pedals, which I've not yet found. But I got these. These came from China. I was hoping to get something that was a little bit different than the 3M ones that I already had. But hey, look, as it turns out, they are the 3M ones that I already have. And they're not fake. So, yeah. You never know what you're going to get from China. I mean, we already all knew that, right? Let's get into these two phasers. So, let us first acknowledge that these knobs are not real. These are replica knobs. They're not replicas, because replicas wouldn't have set screws. These are just different knobs. They're modern replacements. Okay, those are going to go away. Call me a monster, but these are not replica knobs. There we go. This guy needs work anyway. You can have the replicas. Not only does the frequency analyzer need work, but it's just it's not a very nice pedal. Not for me. Maybe for Devo. Okay, 1977, 1979. I've got to keep these straight. One thing I don't want to do is get all this stuff mixed up. 1977. This is a good place to put a sticker. Right there. And put one there too. That way the two halves stay together. Let's stay together. Okay. Y'all like Al Green, right? Okay. Now that I put those new knobs on, I'm going to take them right back off. I'm going to try and just keep things like separated to the halves of the table here, maybe. Maybe I should pull down 2 bins. Problem is I don't have 2 empty bins handy. I got like 100 bins that are stuffed full. So, like I said, I want to get the cap values from these so that I can have spares on hand. But also, we know that these sounded different. In the previous video that I did. This one was kind of honky and nasally and very forward and punchy. This one had a wider frequency range. It was more balanced and even. And clean and clear sounding, I guess you'd say. You could say it's hi-fi. I don't think that's a bad term. The clock noise was a little bit different on the two. So the 79 had a little bit more tick to the clock when you got that, I guess the rate down real low. The 77 had more of it was a deeper kind of bassy. Oh, I think the jack twisted. I should take these cases apart before I do that. Well, that's not the right driver. This is kind of fun. We did this with the 2 Electric Mistress pedals where we took each one apart and examined the capacitors inside and stuff. I actually I wasn't going to post those videos. I was going to post them privately just so that I could review them later and pull the cap values I need. But upon watching it, I was like, why not? People like the techie stuff, right? As it turns out, they do. And they, people have been watching them. So, right on. There we go. Okay. Definitely can take the battery out. And now I want to stop doing this and go listen to Al Green. right, so I don't think we're going to need to take the switch off to do what we're doing here today. Oh, we should look at the back panel parts. I missed a capacitor on the Electric Mistress on the back panel. There was one up here on one of them and not on the other. I think it's a 15 microfarad, but I need to go back and confirm that. This has a little resistor. A little tantalum capacitor there. Let's see if there's a value on that capacitor. Yes. Oh boy, but I need my glasses for that one. Maybe you guys will be able to see it. Can you see that? I think that says 4.7 and it's 16 volts. And then there's also that resistor there, which here, I'll get a shot of the resistor. Brown, red, green, blue, yellow. I think the blue casing is what signifies it's a percent in this case. Okay, so I've got a lighter colored board here than you see in a lot of late 70s stuff. Very clean. It has some coating on it. NB LCO or NB pipe, as in the ASCII character pipe, CO. It's hard to say. There is a distinct lack of Redicon chips in here. There's a LM324N over here in the corner. And then we have the socketed RCA here. Maybe I'll come in closer for this stuff. And that's a CD4009 UBE. Then we've got a series of RCA 4558. I believe those are op amps. Are those the ones that people like to see in tube screamers? I forget. Yeah, and another one of those down here. I vaguely remember putting a piece of electrical tape under there. I think there might have been one already, and I put another. Looks like a good place to put it. Okay. Should we get to the cap read-offs, or should I just do a little... Let's read the caps first, and then we'll keep it open and compare to the next one. Okay, and I'm going to need the dial calipers. Or, sorry. The calipers. They're not dial calipers. They don't have a dial on them. Okay. Micrometers are usually, that's what I call the C-clamp looking device with a little readout that tells you how thick something very small is. Okay, we're going to go top left to bottom right, just like you read the English writing, as we usually do. This is a 16 volt, this little blue one here, 16 volt capacitor. It's got to move this tape a little bit if I can. Gonna need glasses. I mean, I just keep them on. 10. It's a 10 microfarad, 16 volt capacitor. You see a lot of those pedals. Okay, this next one here, pretty large. I think we can all see that. That's a 500 microfarad, 16 volt. All right, let me, I'll go back and I'll do the size on the 1610, but I think we're just going to get a million of those. I think we already did get a million of those for the DoD pedals. Okay, so that's about 11.5 millimeters tall and about 5.2 millimeters wide. Okay, so next, this big guy here, which is a axial cap, as opposed to the previous that was a radial. This is 500 microfarads at 16 volts. It is 31 millimeters long by 13.15 millimeters wide. All right. Now we're moving on over to this guy here, this blue cap. And that is a 100 microfarads at 25 volts. This is a radial. 15.14 millimeters tall, 10.26 millimeters wide. And I think this is going to be the last one here. This little blue guy down in the corner. Is that the same as the first? Looks different. All right, I gotta lift this up. And that is a... the first character is cut off. It just says 0 volt. Oh, 50 volt. 50 volt. It's repeated. But what is the capacitance? 1 microfarad at 50 volts. Okay. And its size is about 10.28 millimeters long by 5.33 millimeters wide. Okay, that is all the electrolytics that I see. I'm going to look again on the other side real quick just to make sure we're not grossly overlooking something. Yeah, I don't see any more on this side or anywhere, so that's it. Now, what else do we have? I should have brought the schematic. I didn't print it out. I didn't bring it. I am interested to see what the input capacitor is. How was this guy configured? There we go. So input is on this side. There's the input. Yeah. So it comes off of this black wire and it lands right there, and I bet there's a capacitor. First thing, well, there's a couple of things first thing. So that's gonna be kind of tricky. Okay, I think we can safely say, I think this larger green chiclet is the input capacitor, and it's 104, which means it's a, I believe that's a 0.1 microfarad. 104 yeah, I think so. I will double check that. Okay, I think for the moment, let's just set this guy kind of like that so that we can look at it and enjoy it. And then we're gonna move on to the next one. And then we'll, once you've got the other one open, we can look at them a little bit better regarding the differences and talk about what we see. Okay. This one's a little stripped. We'll see if there's anything that can be done about that once we're inside too. I wonder what we're going to break today. I mean, we are taking apart Electro-Harmonix pedals. Right away, there's some differences here. You can see this is an earlier board. Let's flip this back over and we can compare the back to back again. Okay. This has a revision on it. This is the 79. That is EH5600C. This has a revision on it which is hard to see. Maybe you guys can see it better. Looks like it says C373 maybe. We'll take another look at that when I lift this out of here. There's definitely some additional parts on the back. So let me zoom out. Where this capacitor and resistor is on the board here, we have nothing here. But the boards are different. So, this is earlier. Sounds like they revised the board and then perhaps added that. We don't have this. We don't have any of that. We don't have this electrolytic. Oh, let me take the battery out of this. Let's have a look at, let me set this one aside again. And then we'll get back to this guy like we were planning to do. Let's look at this first electrolytic right here. It is got some stamping on it. Looks like M2357515B. And then there is some additional stamping on the side here. Oh boy. I don't want to break it to look at it. Well, it says 470M. Let's go with that being 470 microfarads. Doesn't really show us anything else as far as voltage. That's like obviously voltage. It's Mexican. $101,078. I'm not sure. And that cap is like is basically sitting on the pins of this IC. I mean, it's not by a hair. I can't tell if there's any clear cellophane wrapped around that. There might be. Or polyester or whatever it is. So, interesting. Okay, let's measure it with the calipers. It is a 30.08 millimeter long by 9.77 millimeters wide capacitor. Now today is not the day that we're technically going to be checking to see how these caps perform. Another sip. But I'm going to fire up my benchtop multimeter and just see what it gives me. These kind of in-circuit capacitor measurements are usually no good. Because you get parallel capacitance. I gotta turn that out. Sorry. I don't know if that works better or worse for you guys. Probably worse. It'd be weird if it wasn't worse. 0.02 nanofarads. So yeah, that's not right. Oh, that's basically what my leads read. There we go. I can zero out my leads. 0.003 nanofarads. So yeah, that's obviously not right. Okay. let's continue the breakdown. Break it down. What is your favorite 1980s or 1990s song with the phrase, break it down? You should have no shortage of selections available to choose from with that question. Uh-oh, did I put that on properly? That means, if I put this one on properly, that means I have to take it off improperly. Okay, let's just have a quick little overview of this. There we go. Pretty cool. Let's zoom out. Okay, let's look at the ICs. They're a little different. Okay, so we've got an RCA CA324G up there, and then down here in the socket, somebody tell me what that logo is, please. I knew it at one point, and then I forgot it. It is a SCL 4009AE. Okay, and then we've got, looks like these are Texas Instruments RC 4558s rather than the RCAs that we saw in the previous one. And then one more down there. So those are the op amps, I believe. I didn't cover the transistor in the previous one, but there is one here. Let's see. What is it? Can you guys see that? I don't know that I can see that. M2N 5088, I think. You'll want to confirm. M2N 5088, perhaps. Okay, we did a little back of the boards overview. Let's do a little front of the boards overview here. Okay, so we've got this. Are they both on camera pretty well there? Can I go closer? Maybe. Yes. I think that's about, it might be just perfect actually. Okay. So, we've got this earlier 1977 here with this cool mint green board like my favorite Electric Misters and David Gilmour's. And then we've got this 1979 here with this little bit of a darker, cleaner board. This one has a lot of parts on the back. This one not so much, but it does have some additional parts in the back that this one does not. I think just at a glance, I think it's fair to say the components look like they're a bit denser here, that this one just probably integrated a lot of those parts on the backside onto the front of it. We have, maybe these aren't RCAs. I thought they say RA. Could be wrong. So anyway, we've got these 4558 op amps, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have the same 4558 op amps, although they're by a different brand, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one has a different chip in this position, which I think might be the clock generator. And this one has a different chip in this position, which I think is the clock generator. CA324G 930 LM32 4N. Yeah. This is an RCA. These are RCAs. Right? No, these are Texas Instruments. This one says RCA. I think this is a bucket brigade. And that's what gives your timing to oscillate the phase. And this is an SCL 4009AE, and this is a CD4009 UBE. This one is an RCA. It's branded. Okay, well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 electrolytic caps that we counted here and took measurements on, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Now this one also has one on the back. A fairly big one. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has a fairly big one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's as if this one has an additional electrolytic. Maybe there even was another on the back. I don't remember. There's so much stuff on the back of that one, I don't remember. This is hanging loose here. Is that one like that? No. Okay. So this is kind of interesting. This pot is actually soldered to the board, whereas this one is not. Kind of interesting. I've seen some other early EHX stuff like that. This board has TC branding on it, the actual board itself. You can see that in red there. It's just printed on the material. It's like the plexiglass type material. I didn't look at what the transistor was on this one. Let's see if I can do that real quick just to be complete. Try and show it all. I hope this is interesting for somebody. It's interesting for me, but I realize I'm not doing a great job because I'm not super familiar with all these parts. Okay. I don't know if I can see that. That looks like it's a F2N 5088. I think that's what we said the other one was too, right? 5088. Where are you? There it is. Is that it? Yes, this is a 2N 5088. Okay. All right. Let's do our thing with the electrolytics on this 1977 example here. All right, we did cover that one on the back. It's a 470 microfarad with unknown voltage, but I read the code on it earlier, so maybe I can look that up and find out. The size again was a 30 millimeters long by 9.7 millimeters wide. Okay, and there's only a few here, so unlike something like the DM1 delay machine, this won't take up a half hour. I didn't even post that part for that one. It would have been mind-numbing to most everyone. Though I do have it available. It's just listed privately, but if somebody wants it, tell me why. Okay, 16 volts at 10 microfarads for this little surf green colored one with the red writing on it. And it is about 10.7 millimeters tall by 6.28 millimeters wide. I think we had that same 1610 in that position of the other one. Okay, this larger blue one here is 100 microfarads at 16 volts. And it's 13 millimeters wide by 10.14 millimeters tall. These are all radial on the top of this. Only the one on the back was axial. All right, this little black guy here is 1 microfarad at 50 volts. About 11 millimeters tall by 5.3 millimeters wide. Okay, this last one, this black one down here in the corner, is 33 microfarads by 16 volts. I don't think we had one of those on the other. 11.5 millimeters tall, 6.4 millimeters wide. Okay, I am interested again in seeing the input capacitor, which is going to be maybe this one right on the board there. This is going to be harder. Okay, the yellow wire. Yes, the yellow wire is feeding directly to this capacitor. And it is 0.1 at 100 volts. So I think that was a 0.1 also. When I moved this, I found some more writing on this board. Let's have a look at that. Can you guys see this okay? Electro-Harmonix, copyright 1975. Now this has 77 dated pots, so we know it's not built in 1975, but the board was designed then. And then this writing that I said I was going to come back to re-explore later. Let's see if we can catch that. Oh, work with me here, camera. There we go. I can't see that clearly. Okay, it looks to me as if it says DC 375. But there's a big ball of solder in the 5 and the D. But that, I think that should be enough to find, you know, other boards of this type, photos of them online, and clarify what that really says. This might be the output capacitor. It's also a 0.1, just for what it's worth. I think it's coming off the switch, so it could very well be the output. Okay. I think that's going to cover it. Let's put them back together. Maybe I'll just do one kind of all around here, in case I want to see what those resistor values are later. This one's sort of hidden behind that wire. There's a little guy up here on the switch. I don't know if I got a good all-over shot of the other side of the board, so I'll do that. And then I suppose while I have them both apart, let me try to get a shot if I can. Very cool. Okay. Put them back together. I'm going to do a little listen at the end of this because I want to make sure I didn't break them. So if you want to hang out through the reassembly, or if you want to skip ahead, you will have the distinct pleasure of hearing yours truly play my favorite 15 or so original riffs that I can get away with playing on YouTube. This one's tricky on this one because it's not connected to the board, so I've got to be very careful when I tighten that down that the pot doesn't twist inside. It will want to. And this guy is tricky because of all this wiring. I need to check if this is supposed to sit so high there. Got to be able to put the back of the case on. Nearly there. That robot wasn't walking too good today, was he? I've mentioned before on this channel that that's one of the first toys that it might be the first toy that I remember my mom buying me. Like I had toys that were earlier that I remember, but they just kind of were always there. I don't really remember asking for them. But I remember being at the store and my mom bought that for me. Bought it at the grocery store. A little grocery store called Giant in Olney. And it has a date on its legs. It was made in 1977. And that robot and I have a little casual competition running as to which one of us is going to stop walking first. Today looks like a good day for me and a bad day for the robot. I think that'll fit just fine. I'm not going to put the back on yet. I'm going to test them first. Now this guy. Pretty sweet battery clip. I think it's just missing the outer part, the outer vinyl or whatever it is, but it sure looks cool like that. Okay, we are nearly done here. So nearly done. I'm going to fire up the Princeton Reverb. Somebody's got to pick a bench voltage for the night for it, though. Anybody have any suggestions? Who said 114 even? You in the orange and red pants. You got it, sir. 114 even it is. That will be the magic voltage for the evening, which means that it is the perfect voltage for that amplifier right now at this time and place in the universe. This battery clip is full of solder. I might want to replace that. It's not really hurting anything though. Works better that way. Okay. Alrighty then. We're gonna get these sitting here. Who's gonna put knobs on the pedals? This guy is. Okay. Shall we do the thing with the thing? I think we shall. Uh-oh. That is not the plug I'm looking for. There we go. Is that okay? Yeah, all right. Got a little relay clicky there for a minute, didn't it? Maybe it always thinks that. Let's find out. Yeah, I guess it does. Just cleaning the relays, I suppose. Getting itself ready for rock. Okay, now grab a couple of these. up the intensity game show music. Okay. All right, we're gonna send. We're gonna go send to inputs. Return to air. There we go. That's a little better. And this guy can go here. I'm just trying to keep that auto manual switch clear so that we can get to it. Okay. Not having touching, so we don't have ground loops. Here. I think Cruz Ramirez and Gravedigger are going to join us for this one. And you know what? Let's get the robot involved. Okay, that's everything down. Remember, Electro-Harmonix pedals, knobs never point in a meaningful position. I can get a little more volume out of this tonight. Feedback like halfway up. That's how you cover up a sour note, right? Okay, I don't know if this is gonna work, but when I listen to these back, sometimes I'm hiking or I'm in the car or I'm traveling and I'm not looking at the video. So I don't know which one I'm listening to because the only indicator is visual. So I'm going to try to remember to call these out here as I'm doing it, as I'm changing them over. So right now we're listening to the 1979. We'll call it Rusty because he's rusty here, and this is Shiny because he's nice and glossy. This is 77, 79. 77 is Shiny, 79 is Rusty. Let's do some all fives in the middle on the SG. It's always nice. A little more volume on the amp. And a lot more honk on the guitar. Let's bring the rate up a little bit, maybe like halfway. Let's go over to Shiny. Back to Rusty. Back to Shiny. Back to Rusty. Let's go back to Shiny. Let's do a little bit of funk on the bridge. Now, manual's not on right now. I don't think it does anything. Yeah, unlike the MXR, I don't think this does anything when it's set to auto. Let's take the feedback up a little higher. Let's do like 3/4 of the way up on feedback and rate. How's that? So we'll just say it's 9 o'clock at feedback and rate on these weird knobs. Should we try a little dirt? I don't have the cable handy. Let's see. Okay, here we go. We can play with dirt. We can play with dirt. You know it won't hurt. We can play with dirt. Can that be seen? Yes, it can. All right. Got the rat on screen. Got the squeal in the room. Remember, these had a different range of speed. That's about the same speed. Let's take the feedback down. We can leave the speed where it is there. Okay, that was shiny. We're going over to rusty now. I'm going to take the rates down. We'll do a little bit more of that and go back to shiny here. Over to rusty. Back over to shiny. Try and get a little more of that feedback back in. I don't like a lot of it, but we're gonna do let's just go about a third of the way up with everything. How are the speeds? Speeds are pretty close there. Back over to shiny. Rusty. Digger fell down. We're gonna put him over here on the rat. Seems like a good spot. Let's go back to Shiny. Back over to Rusty. Over to Shiny. Should we get into the neck pickup? Do a little chunky heavy riffing. I kind of want to turn the feedback back down, but I'm going to give it a little bit more because it's not what I want, is it? It's about demoing the pedals. Let's go all the way up. I think that needs the bridge pickup there. Over to Rusty. Let's take the feedback all the way down. I'm gonna take the rate to like. Let's just do let's see as fast as they can go. Oh yeah, there's that noise. We're gonna explore that in a minute, but this is the top speed of each. There's Shiny. There's Rusty. Kind of just playing a harmonic. Back over to Shiny. Wow, it sounds pretty weird. Let's explore that clock noise real quick. I think if I turn the feedback up, it's going to do it more. I don't know that I need to have the guitar up to do it at all. Yeah, maybe I do. Yeah, maybe I'll leave that down. Try to make it loud without getting the guitar to squeal. Kind of hear it buzzing there. I did it without the rat on last time. Let's try that. It's gonna be okay. All right. I'm turning the amp way up and the guitar down so you can hear this noise. There it goes. Humming, and now that's shiny, and now we're gonna go to rusty. Okay. So I'll be interested to see if those electrolytic caps, how testing those and then replacing any bad ones works into that at all. It might just be the design being different. You can tell that obviously they were adding some parts as they got along later, integrating into the, they were adding parts here and then integrating them into the board later. But there's also just some other differences. I'm going to explore the schematics a little bit, just kind of for kicks, and see if I can eyeball what's going on with some of that stuff. Looks like they're trying to tame some of the noise maybe, but there's also other differences. So it'll be really cool to figure out, potentially at least, how the differences in sound are a matter of the differences in the circuits or the differences in the stability of the parts. So if parts are drifted, no longer in spec, if that contributes to it more than the differences in the circuits do. So I think we're good. I've kind of covered everything here. I didn't do the manual mode. I guess we can play around with the manual switch a little bit. This is still shiny. Let's go back to rusty. Oh, wrong button. Back to shiny. Brought the feedback up, still on shiny. Let's go to rusty. It's kind of ridiculous, right? Still on rusty. Let's go back to shiny. Okay. My favorite setting on most EHX pedals, everything down, still on shiny. Back to rusty. shiny. All right, let's do the manual mode. Halfway up. All right. Manual. Halfway up is where we were, right? Let's get into Rusty here. Try this. Let's try a sweep. And now over here to shiny. These are all the same. Wow. This has a lot more honk and resonance. The differences kind of go away when you get up into this higher end here. Shiny. Rusty. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just like that middle range. They're pretty even. Rusty. And shiny. That part seems pretty much the same. Rusty. Shiny. Shiny. Rusty. Wow. All the way up. Rusty. Shiny. Ah, this one's more resonant on that top end. And then back to Rusty. Wow. Back to shiny. there's a lot to be said of both of these. They both sound fantastic. I don't have a clear favorite, to be honest. They both have some truly great strengths. This one, definitely, especially in the manual mode, but I think that probably correlates to the sweeping. More resonant on the lower end of the knob. This one more resonant on the top end of the knob, but this one just generally more clear, clean, big, wide. This one more resonant, focused, tight, and mid-rangey. More honky, more nasal. This one more open, breathy, and clear. This one's got that motorboating hum when you get the clock rate up high, and this one has just more of a click. I suppose neither of those noises are really desirable, but they're both part of the character. I'm not somebody who is like, yeah, I like this vintage pedal except for the level drop and the tone suck and the click and the... Like, then get a new one. You start fixing that stuff, and what else is it taking away from? Nothing? I doubt it. Usually, in my experience, it is taken away from something somewhere else. Like that, like when you fix the volume drop and the tone suck on an Electric Mistress. Well, all of a sudden, it no longer makes a big muff in front of it magic. It no longer tames it and gives it that mid-range and smooths it out and makes it clear and detailed. You don't want that. At least I don't. Anybody can want what they want, though. I like them both. I don't have a favorite. They're both super cool. I'm kind of inclined to just use this in the shootout because it's earlier. I don't know. Cruz Ramirez, what do you think? We're going to go with what Cruz thinks on this one, I think. She hasn't spoken up yet, so I think she's still undecided. Gravedigger likes them both, and the robot's willing to stumble across either one. So there you have it, folks. It's been entertaining. Thank you so much for tuning into the Rewind Electric Show. I'm going to finish my Topo Chio, and then I will just have to listen to this again probably several times over the next few days and then still struggle to choose a favorite. So that's just how it goes for me. Alrighty. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great night. Please don't forget to dislike and unsubscribe, or else you're going to get more of this junk in your feed. Nobody wants that, right? All right. See ya.